So let's use agents to write a children's story about Tim the Flying Dog. We saw last time that we could give agents as tools. So here we have an editor agent that's in charge, and it has tools of a plot agent, a writer agent, and a critic agent. And we told the LLM that the editor had these tools, and the LLM could call these tools to write the story. And that worked really well. Let's take a look at a different way. In this one, we're going to use what we call a PubSub architecture. So here's a PubSub architecture for writing a children's story. And in this case, the agents are going to be triggered by events. So here we have a PubSub server, and that's going to have topics. So we're going to have a plot topic, and what's going to happen is we'll have an initial prompt that comes in that runs the plot agent that produces the plot topic. So the plot agent here writes to the plot topic. Now, the writer is subscribed to the plot topic. So when that topic is written, the writer is triggered and it picks up the plot, and now it writes the story. And then the writer writes that out to the story topic. And once again, the critic here has subscribed to that story topic. So anytime there's a story there, the critic will review it and will write its critic topic. And again, now the writer subscribes to the critic topic and rewrites the story depending on the critic's comments. And then so finally that writer will write the revision, and that will be subscribed to by the editor, and then the editor will approve the final version and write it out to the final topic. So this is a different way of triggering agents. That here we're triggering each agent by subscribing to this PubSub server. So the PubSub server is in charge. So I want to show you the code. So here we have an agent, and I'm running Faust Kafka as our PubSub server. So we're going to spin up, and here I've already spun up that PubSub server. So it's running in a Docker container, and actually I'm running on code spaces. So it's running in code spaces. And if we look here, Docker, yeah. So here is, we're running Red Pandas actually. And that's our container that's running, and it's being exposed so that we can write to it. Let's go and look at our code. So here is our code under agent.py. And the way that this works is that we're going to log things so we can see what's going on. But this is saying, if there's anything written to the plot topic, then run this. So this is the writer agent that will pick up what the plot has written, the plot agent has written. Let's go see the agents. So here are all our agents. So here's the plot agent, and it has instructions. These are the master instructions. Develop a creative, child-friendly story titled Tim the Flying Dog. The story should have a clear beginning, middle, and end, with light-hearted conflict and resolution. Output only the plot structure. So this is for the plot agent. The plot should be suitable for children's 5 to 8, with simple language and imaginative detail. Now, I'm telling it to repeat these master instructions in the response, because it's quite easy for an agent to lose the thread, if you like, of what it's supposed to do. So we need to make sure every agent has this big picture that we're trying to write a children's story about Tim the Flying Dog. So this is going to be propagated out when the agent is run. So let's see the plot agent run. So down here, we're going to, let me go to the bottom here. We're going to initiate the pipeline by running the plot agent. Here you see the plot agent being called. And this is a task. So this is the interesting thing now, is that we're going to control everything through this PubSub architecture. So this is going to be run automatically, that this decorator is such that it knows it's part of a PubSub architecture, and it's going to write the plot topic it's going to write to the plot topic the output of this call, which is going to go and run the plot agent, which is going to call the LLM and get the plot. It'll be part of this result, and we're going to write it out to that topic. Then that topic will trigger off the writer. So if we go back up now and we look at the actual writer agent. So here's our writer agent. So again, this will run. And here in model settings, if we look at model settings, this is where we specify which model we're going to run. So here's model settings. And we're actually going to be running OpenAI's GPT 4.0. Okay, so that's the way this PubSub works. Let's see it actually running. So here, okay, so let's run it. So we're launching agent.py, Python. So now we're waiting for the first plot to be written. So this is the plot. And here now, the plot is going to be consumed. So, and it's going to consume plot. So this is the writer. So back up here was the plot. Okay, then the writer's picking it up. Then it's going to go to the critic. So here we've got the story. So the story is, so this is being produced, and let's have a look down lower. We should see it that it's consumed. Yep, and this is consuming the story. So this is the critic. Child-friendly story, etc. So now the critic is going to write it out. And now, so this is it being written out, producing the critique. So there's the critique. Now we'll consume that topic, the critique. And so this is the writer again, consuming it. So rewriting the story. And then here it's producing the final version. And then the final version is going to be written out as the final story. So here we are. So once upon a time in a cheerful little village, there was a curious dog named Tim. Tim had fluffy golden fur, wagging tail, etc. And there's our story. So that's controlling agents using a PubSub architecture, which is very flexible, and PubSub is basically an event-driven architecture that's highly used in data pipelines today. So that's our PubSub architecture, where agents are triggered by the event of writing something, of writing a topic. So when one of these things is written, as we showed here, we have something that's subscribed to that. So in this case, the critic is subscribing to the story topic. And then the writer is subscribing to the critic. And the editor is subscribing to the revised topic. So this is a great way of controlling agents and making sure that they have the right context. Okay, bye for now.